Right everyone, it is Finn here, and of course welcome back to my channel where, yes, I'm sporting my brand new Nigerian football jersey. I absolutely love it, and yes, I've still got my AFCON sign in the background. Don't worry, I will be changing that very soon as the competition is over. But of course, welcome back to some more Premier League content. Now that AFCON is over, I will be focusing a lot more on Premier League once more, and of course, what better way to get back into it than Premier League Match Week 24, where of course, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today we're going to be talking about every game coming your way for Premier League Match Week 24. We're going to be talking about the fixtures to look out for, obviously my score predictions, that's kind of how prediction videos work, along with my players to watch for every single fixture. Once again, been a while since I've consistently done this. Obviously the Premier League's also had a tiny bit of a break, but I am back with Premier League content, so hopefully it ends up going well. But of course, looking at the games we have to look out for Premier League Match Week 24, we start off with West Ham United versus Watford. Obviously Watford under a brand new manager like Roy Hodgson.
So let's not take the piss here.
Going to be interesting to see what he does versus a team like West Ham United. We've also got Newcastle United versus Everton. Once again, Everton also a brand new manager with Frank Lampard picking up a 4-1 win in the FA Cup with Everton versus Brentford. Going to be interesting to see what he does versus the richest club in world football. We've also got Burnley versus Manchester United, Norwich versus Crystal Palace. We've got Tottenham Hotspurs versus Southampton, which once again, although you would expect Spurs to be the favourite, last time they played Southampton in December, it was a 1-1 draw. So Southampton is definitely a team you cannot sleep on because they could steal points from you. We've got Manchester City versus Brentford, Aston Villa versus Leeds. We've got Wolves versus Arsenal, which of course in the last two meetings between these two teams, Wolves have come out on top, so Arsenal will be looking for revenge. And of course, to end off Premier League Match Week 24, we've got Liverpool versus a very, very weak Leicester City team that is currently 10th place on the Premier League table. And this is a big match from them that they will not want to slip. And I'm telling you in advance that I think if Leicester City don't win this one or don't look convincing, this might be goodbye for Brendan Rodgers.
First time.
Like, genuinely, I think so at this point. But jumping straight into the predictions, which of course, guys, once again, if you are new to my channel, first of all, hi everyone, I'm Finn, and if you do like this kind of content on a regular basis, don't forget to subscribe down below. But game number one, obviously, West Ham United versus Watford. And first of all, congratulations, Watford, on finally keeping a clean sheet. Under Roy Hodgson, this is Watford's first clean sheet out of their last 6 Premier League managers. That's right, they've had 6 managers in the Premier League since they last kept a clean sheet. And if you told me the first clean sheets would be under a man who looked like that, I mean, I'm telling you, that man keeps absolutely no sheets clean. But obviously, jokes aside, obviously Watford, congratulations, versus a team like Burnley, versus a very good attacking looking Burnley to an extent. I would say that is a huge achievement. And on the attacking front, I think Watford actually looked really good versus Burnley. The amount of chances they had, I thought Watford actually had a really good looking game versus Burnley. But versus West Ham United, do I think that they will get the result? To be honest, I think West Ham will end up getting a 3-1 win. Yes, West Ham have lost unnecessary points here and there. They recently lost to Manchester United, but once again, I don't think they had a bad game. They were missing 1 or 2 key players, but other than that, West Ham United still a top quality team. And if you look at the history between these two teams, in their last 10 games between each other, obviously West Ham have won the majority. They've won the last 4 in a row, and it's all been 4-1 wins, a 3-1 win, another 3-1 win, a 4-1 win. So to go with the 3-1 win prediction just feels right. West Ham have had a better season, and my player to watch, it is going to be, well, I mean, it works on a plate with curry, it works on the pitch, it has to be Rice.
I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed.
Which, yes, I know Premier League content is coming back, so are the dad jokes. I'm sorry, I guess it is what you guys signed up for. But yes, Declan Rice, although Jared Bowen seems to be the player getting all the goals and getting all the assists, once again, Declan Rice showing that he is a true leader in the middle of the park, obviously the general in the midfield. When it comes to attacking ability, defensive ability, once again, Declan Rice, second to none, one of the best defensive midfielders in the entire world, and I think he's absolutely going to control the game versus Watford. Moving on, we've we've got Newcastle United versus Everton. Obviously, Newcastle recently picking up a 1-0 win versus Leeds, which, let's be honest, at this point, you can't use Newcastle United's previous game as a reference to how well they can play. They've just bought 5 players for £93 million. They've essentially got a brand new team after buying, well, 5 players worth 2 Martials.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it? Yes.
Worth of signings. Sorry, does that make sense? I feel like that was horrible English. I feel like you guys know what I mean though. Yeah, after spending £93 million, Newcastle United have got 5 signings, could make a huge impact on this team. But looking at Everton, getting Donny van der Beek as semi-finalist in the Champions League, getting a player like Dele Alli, once again we know how good he can be as a player when he was in his prime. Everton getting 2 big players into their club, and that's after the fact that they got a 4-1 win versus Brentford in the FA Cup, their first game managed by Frank Lampard. Everton are looking really good at the moment, and I genuinely think that they could get the result versus Newcastle. I think they're going to get a 2-1 win versus Newcastle, because although they got some brilliant signings in, it is going to take a tiny bit of time for the team to gel and work well together. So in the meantime, I think Frank Lampard's team will be the team on top. And in terms of a player to watch, there are so many options. I'm so tempted to go for someone like Calvert-Lewin. Obviously, now that he's back from injury, we're still waiting for him to score. Obviously, you've got Richarlison, but I think it has to be one of the new boys, and I'm going to go for Dele Alli. Although Donny van der Beek, we still technically have to see him in the Premier League. Once again, Dele Alli, we know his attacking ability, and I'm excited to see how he works with players like Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin. Moving on, we've got Burnley versus Manchester United, which, yes, of course, United ended up beating West Ham in their previous game, but they also got knocked out of the FA Cup by Middlesbrough, so it could go absolutely either way with my boys, unfortunately. Looking at Burnley, only 1 win this Premier League season, but if there was any team that only had 1 win could beat, it's Manchester United. I know I luck at this point. We just don't do well versus teams like a Burnley. In fact, I think that it's very likely that we could get a draw. Obviously, looking at the previous game between us, obviously United has won the last 3. It was a Burnley win, so United definitely look like the stronger team. I do think United are going to win this one. I do think it will be very close, and I'm going to put forward a 2-1 win. Once again, Burnley was so defensively good versus Watford. I think on the attacking front, I mean, how are you going to tell me that a team with McNeil, Weghorst and Cornet could get relegated? I think that attack is going to produce something special. Obviously, Weghorst, the brand new signing. Can we just talk about the fact that Burnley have just signed one of the top goal scorers in the Bundesliga from last season? He was playing in the Champions League this season, and now he's playing in a team that's bottom of the Premier League table. That's insane. But I do think United still will be able to win, and my player to watch, it's going to be the Premier League Player of the Month for January, David De Gea. Once again, been brilliant between the posts, and versus a striker like Weghorst, he's going to have to pull off a big performance, and I think we're going to see just that. Moving on, we've got Norwich versus Crystal Palace. Now, of course, Norwich winning their last 2 games in a row. Absolutely brilliant. 1 versus Everton, a 3-0 win versus Watford. Norwich aren't looking bad at the moment. Looking at Crystal Palace, once again, I'd like to see a pick-up on performances. But saying that, a 3-1 loss to Liverpool. I think if you just look at that, you wouldn't be too impressed. You'll think that's what's to be expected. But watching the game itself, I thought Crystal Palace were brilliant when they were only 2-1 down. I genuinely thought Crystal Palace would come back into the game. On the attacking front, Crystal Palace have been so solid in terms of their performances. It doesn't always show in the results, but I really do like this Crystal Palace team, and I think that they could hand Norwich quite a reasonably big smack, to be honest with you. Yes, I know Norwich have picked up 2 wins in a row, but I think I've seen more from Crystal Palace this season. As I said, although they lost versus Liverpool, I think they still played well. Lots of their players are coming back from AFCON. That is obviously a huge one, including AFCON winner Koyata in the midfield, so that's going to be a huge bonus from them. And in terms of player to watch, it has to be Conor Gallagher, the Chelsea loanee with 7 goals and 3 assists this season, 10 goal contributions from the Englishman in the midfield. I think once again, he's just going to produce something special versus Norwich. Moving on, we've got Tottenham Hotspurs versus Southampton. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Southampton isn't a team you can sleep on. Obviously, looking here, they drew 1-1 with Tottenham Hotspurs, and in the previous game, they drew 1-1 with Manchester City. After like 12 or 13 wins in a row, Southampton was a team to put an end to that winning streak. So Southampton, not a team you can sleep on. But versus Tottenham Hotspurs, once again, under Antonio Conte, I've just been so impressed with Spurs. I think I am going to give them a 2-0 win. Once again, we've seen big performances, but I wouldn't be surprised if Southampton stole a point. And in terms of a player to watch, it has to be good old Harry Kane. As I said, has picked up on performances so far this season, scored 2 goals in the FA Cup for them. Once again, Tottenham Hotspurs just seem to be really, really good under Antonio Conte, and I think they will get the result. We then have Manchester City versus Brentford next. Now, yes, of course, Brentford not in brilliant form at the moment. I really do like this Brentford team, but they've conceded 12 goals in their last 4, and that's excluding that 4-1 loss in the FA Cup in their previous game. So, yeah, Brentford, unfortunately, defensively not looking good at the moment. Versus Manchester City, that will cost you, and I think Man City should get a 3-0 win, at least in my opinion. As I said, nothing bad versus Brentford, just defensively not good at the moment. Manchester City, we know how good they can be. A 3-0 win just seems reasonable. And my player to watch, it is going to be a man who unfortunately got knocked out of the African Cup of Nations relatively early. Riyad Mahrez, 2 goals and an assist in their previous FA Cup game. Obviously, Riyad Mahrez, we know how good he can be on the attacking front. Versus Brentford, I think that he can rack up his goal tally quite a bit. Brilliant attacking player. Next up, we've got Aston Villa versus Leeds United, which once again, Aston Villa, a whole new look kind of team with Lucas Digne in the left back position. Absolutely brilliant player, got an assist versus his former team Everton in the previous game. Obviously, Philippe Coutinho got a goal and an assist versus Manchester United in the game before that.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
Aston Villa just looks so complete at the moment. Like, genuinely, I almost can't point out a weak spot in their team. They also got Chambers as a reserve kind of centre-back option versus Leeds United, which I'll say this, although Leeds United lost to Newcastle in their previous game, I thought that they were the better team on the attacking front. They seemed really, really good. The goal they conceded was a free kick by the great old thigh who shall not be named, John Joe Shelvey. Yeah, I do think Leeds United had a good performance versus Newcastle, but unfortunately we haven't seen enough from them so far this season. They are in danger, in my opinion, of getting relegated. So, you know what, I am going to have to give them a 2-1 loss. I do think that they still could score. As I said, on the attacking front, they have looked good. But Aston Villa, by far the better team as of late, and it has to go to Lucas Digne, in my opinion, in terms of a player to watch. As I said at the Manchester United game, I thought he was brilliant. I do think he could have scored a goal there, obviously got an assist. As I said, I think his set pieces for Aston Villa are going to be crucial this season, which versus a team like Leeds, as I've noticed throughout the season, Leeds really struggle to defend wide attacking play, and when you've got a wide attacking player like Lucas Digne, it can only cause trouble, and that's why I think he will be my player to watch. Heading into my final 2 games, we've got Wolves versus Arsenal next, and as I said, looking at the history between these two teams, yes, although Wolves haven't won many within this span, within the first 8 games, only 1 win, obviously last 2 appearances, Wolves have won those 2 games. They are looking like the better team almost on paper. Arsenal, in terms of your striker options at the moment, you've only got Nketiah and Lacazette after selling the likes of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. So between your 2 only strikers in the club at the moment, you've got 3 goals between them, and they're all Lacazette. So Arsenal, I'm a bit worried for you at the moment. Obviously, midfield-wise, I don't think you have much to you at the moment. I'm very worried for Arsenal at the moment. I think they could be under a lot of pressure. Obviously, they've just drawn 0-0 with Burnley in their previous game. Arsenal have a lot of problems they have to sort out, which versus a Wolves team that has really impressed me, it could genuinely go either way. I mean, looking at the table, Wolves currently 8th place on the table, Arsenal in 6th place. Obviously, Wolves can overtake Arsenal if they end up winning the game, but at the end of the day, I do think it will go down to a 1-1 draw. Saying that, although Arsenal haven't had the best kind of performances at some points this season, they still have had a very decent season overall. Obviously, 6th place, they are in a European spot. I've seen some brilliant plays from their youngsters. Obviously, Ramsdale, a brilliant goalkeeper, Tomiyasu looking really, really good. Obviously, Emile Smith-Rowe, Odegaard. There are so many brilliant options at Arsenal, and I do still think they can get a result. But of course, looking at Wolves, obviously, as I've mentioned many times, Jose Sa, brilliant goalkeeper this season. Wolves playing very well as a team now that the likes of Saiss will be back in the centre-back position. That is a huge bonus to their defence, and I do think it will go down to a draw. And in terms of a player to watch, reasonably tricky, but I am going to go for Martinelli from Arsenal, one of those youngsters that I kind of mentioned earlier when I said they've got lots of brilliant youngsters. Martinelli, although not up at the top amongst with goals and assists, once again, just a really brilliant player, and I think that he's done a really good job for Arsenal this season. I think in terms of creating chances and being really, really good and technical on the ball, a real difference maker. Moving on to the final game of Premier League Match Week 24, which of course, ladies and gentlemen, or gentlemen, I don't know what my demographics in terms of that are. If you have enjoyed this video so far, don't forget to subscribe down below, as I do this on a regular basis. But Liverpool versus Leicester City. As I said, if Leicester City loses one, I think Brendan Rodgers is out the door at this point. He has not had a good season, just lost 4-1 to Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup. 10th place on the Premier League table. Things are not looking good for Leicester City. They've literally got half the wins that Liverpool do this season, and I think Liverpool have lost unnecessary games this season. It is not looking good for them, and to be honest, do I see them having a chance versus Liverpool?
No.
At this stage of the competition, I just don't see so. I do think that it will be a 1-0 win. I don't think it will be an absolutely massive win, because I don't think Liverpool are going to have Sadio Mane and Mo Salah back. But saying that, still a very strong team at the end of the day, and my player to watch has to be their brand new winger signing, Luis Diaz. I mean, 14 goals and 4 assists with Porto last season. I think this man is going to be the difference maker, and he could be Mo Salah or Sadio Mane's successor once they leave Liverpool one day. I know that's hard for Liverpool fans to contemplate them leaving one day, but it will happen eventually. And as I said, I think Luis Diaz will be a really good signing for Liverpool, and I don't think they'll struggle too much without Mane and Salah. I do think they will get the result versus Leicester. Not an impressive season from them so far. Although saying that, looking at their results, they did beat Liverpool in December. And that was only a month and a half ago. So it proves that anything can happen in football. But I don't know if I see it happening twice. But saying that, also looking at the history between these two clubs, Leicester have won the last 2 meetings between these two teams. So, you know what? That's just proof anything can happen in football. But what I do think will happen is I do think Liverpool will end up winning it. They do seem to be in better form, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching my Premier League Match Week 24 predictions. That is the end of this video. I hope that you have enjoyed it. If you have, obviously hit the like button down below. Can we please get this video to 20 likes? Can you please be more accurate with hitting the target than Bruno Fernandes has been as of late? Which, yes, that still breaks my heart at the end of the day, but it is what it is. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, all of the good things, and I hope to see you very, very soon. Cheers.